Pisces, and welcome to your June 2021 reading. Let's look into your energy today for the sun, moon, and rising signs. If you don't know your sun, moon, and rising sign, you can look in the description box down below for a free site that will take you to what you need. If this reading does not resonate with you, remember that energies can be reversed, means that you can assign the roles any way you like. But stick around because there may be something in the reading that you need to hear. These messages are timeless, and that means that even if you were to listen to this message a year from now or 2 years from now, if God brought you here, it's because there's something in it for you, whether it's today or in the future. If this reading does not resonate with you, it just means that I'm not picking up on your specific energy at the time. If there are cards in here that you want to resonate with you, but they're just not yet, that's okay, because all you have to do is go to the video, What Are They Thinking About You, April 2021, and at the end of that video, it explains on how to raise your vibration in order to match the cards that you're looking at and that you're wanting to bring into your life. Because all of manifestation is in your hands anyway. So if there's things in here that you like, great, use it. If there's things in here that you don't like and it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay too. During this reading, the angels are bringing the Holy Fire Reiki energy to you. And at the end of this video, I will release the trapped emotions for your sign. I will let you know what essential oils and maybe even some crystals that can help maximize your energy. So check out the description box down below for all the details. If you like this reading or you were entertained in some way, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. This way you can get notified as soon as I post something new. So before we get started, what I'm going to do is talk about some major things that are going to be happening in June so that you can understand where we're going before we get into your actual reading. There's a new moon solar eclipse that's going to be happening on June 10th. We're going to talk about that. Also, Mercury Retrograde is going to be for the entire month of June. And then we just got out of a lunar eclipse, which you probably should be still feeling some of the effects from, which was really wild, crazy energy. So if you've been feeling off balance, that's why. I did a video about the lunar eclipse. That will be in the description box down below so that you can get some more information about that. And it's for all signs, so you can watch your sign or all of the signs. Doesn't really matter how you do it. It's going to be a very intense month from mid-May until the end of July. And that's just because of everything that's happening. But this month is very important for people because it's about changes. It's about surprises. It's about making the instability stable again. So eclipses, whether they are lunar or solar, the eclipses are very important because they make things appear, things that you didn't know before. Like for instance, there was a friend of mine who we went over her retirement for her, and she didn't realize how close she was to retirement because she just assumed that this pension was going to take care of her instead of realizing that she could have just taken that money out and put it in a Roth IRA, and then she could build up her own money for herself opposed to giving it to the pension. That when she passes, the pension takes your money. You know, they may take care of you while you're alive, but what happens to your family and that extra money, that extra growth, right? She doesn't get the extra growth. The family would only get whatever she put in, which was very small compared to the growth, right? So that's what I'm saying. Something like that. You can get really big things that make sudden life changes for you, that make you go, you know, I really need to take a look at that again. And that's what's so important about the eclipse season, about the retrogrades. Please don't fear any of this stuff because it's the thing that you go, man, I wish I knew that, because if I would have known that, I would have made a different decision. And it really is it can be a very positive experience for you if you go into the mindset that way. Instead of the mindset of, oh my gosh, changes in my life, I think I'm done. You know what I mean? We don't need to do that, right? Okay. So, very interesting things. We're going to talk a little bit about Mercury Retrograde first before I get into your reading as well, because you need to know some things. Mercury Retrograde is about misunderstandings, miscommunication, restlessness. You might be jumping around to a bunch of ideas. So you may be feeling the effects of the lunar eclipse that we just had, where you might be feeling like you're pulled in a million places, or you just have so many ideas of things that you want to do. When we're in Mercury retrograde, We want to make sure that we don't jump to conclusions. That's really important. We want to make sure that we kind of wait on major decisions. It's not that you can't make major decisions. It's just really a month of planning is better. Because what can happen is if you make major decisions, quick major decisions like, let's get married. You know what I mean? Like you just met a person and you want to get married right away. It could turn into disappointment. You could backtrack a lot in the relationship, lots of redos. And then also we have where there's probably, because of the solar eclipse, there's probably going to be a large correction in the stock market, but it's going to be temporary. So those people who have money in the stock market, the best thing that we always do is we always just stay. Don't freak out. Don't pull your money out and create a panic. Because it's possible there's going to be a correction because of the energy and the planets. And so just be aware of that and take a deep breath, and whatever you do, try not to do major things like pulling all of your money out of the stock market because there was a correction and now you're like, oh, we're going to lose all of our money because of, in our Bitcoin and everything. Just don't do that. Just say, you know what, if I'm going to make any major decisions, it's going to be in the middle of July or the end of July. I'm just not going to do it right now, but I will make the decision. I'm just not going to do it right now. Because finances is a big thing with all of those planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Aquarius, all of those planets. Finances is really big for that. And finance is also really big when we're talking about the Mercury retrograde as well. We could spend too much, or we could plan for our future. So it's really whatever decision you're going to make. New moon solar eclipse is in Gemini on June 10th. That could bring on a correction around that area. But that right after that, though, Mars goes into Leo on June 11th, which is going to give everybody the courage to push forward to their goals. So even though we're going to be in Mercury retrograde, you are going to get this feeling of wanting to push it forward towards your goals. And that's fine. Just make sure that we're not starting a brand new business. It's good to start a business, but make sure we're in the planning stage and that you actually do the launch after the Mercury retrograde, which is July, the middle of July, okay? Now, June 12th, then we have Venus is very powerful, and then you're going to want to feel like going to parties and love and creativity and all of those things. And then June 13th, you're going to get more secrets revealed by the sun, because the sun is going to start shining bright and big in the solar system, so we're all going to get illuminated as well. So it's going to be a very, very powerful month. My job for you is to give you as much information as you can so that you can move through it. Please use the support of your friends. Maybe I'll even post a suicide hotline in case some of you guys need to talk to someone and you don't want to talk to your friends. Because I'm not saying it's going to be that horrible, but it depends on your astrology and what you're going through in life and how many changes you're going to have. And so what I'm saying is the energy won't last forever. So for those of you who are feeling like you can't do this anymore or whatever, that could be a feeling, because whenever the energy is big and we're not understanding it, or we're not linking two and two together, then we could have that feeling. Some things that you want to remember for the Mercury retrograde is that you might be forgetful. It's going to pass. All of this is going to pass. You might have a hard time making up your mind about things. You might change your mind a lot, going back and forth. You might second guess yourself. You might have issues with your cell phone, your computer, your electronic devices. You might need to plan a little bit better for trips, road trips and car trips and plane trips. Just make sure you leave a lot earlier and a lot for more time. Like, don't leave at the last minute, because Mercury rules over communication and travel. So make sure that you are just giving yourself ample amount of time when you're driving. Try to get your car serviced before the retrogrades next time. And if you didn't do it, make sure you do it after the retrograde. Get your car serviced, get your cell phones and things like that repaired and stuff after the retrograde, unless you need it repaired right now. But just be aware that there could be a lot of back and forth with the repairs, and just let it go. Be what it is. Be very fluid through this time. It's not really a good time for making contracts. You can do it. You just have to look at all the details. You can't just go, okay, and sign it like you could at a non-retrograde time, or you have before at other times and everything was worked out. Because you might not have all of the information to make a great deal. So that's why you don't really want to do contracts or promises or something like that during the retrograde. It's just because you may not have all of the information. You might want to buy something and think it's a great deal and then want to sign the contract, but then right after Mercury retrograde it goes on sale. So that's why you kind of want to wait. And so if you can wait, just say, hey, I'd love to do this with you. I think I'm just going to wait until the end of July. And I did that when I bought my house. So I found the house that I wanted during the retrograde. And I almost bought a house during the retrograde, but because I knew this, I was like, I don't know. And then I found out later that the house had a natural spring on it. And even the landscaper was like, I wouldn't have bought that house, which is really good because I ended up not buying that home because it was the retrograde. That's why I didn't buy it. And then I waited till into the shadow period. Then I found a house, and then we didn't actually sign the contract until the retrograde was completely over. So just so that you are aware of that, there are ways of working around it. And I was very clear with my realtor, I'm not buying a home during the retrograde. My realtor probably thought I was crazy because she didn't really know much about it, and I understand. But I know. And if you know, you can just be like, hey, if we can hold off on this, I'd like to. Now, if you've already been making plans for something for a really long time and the event happened in the retrograde, it's supposed to, and that's okay. So I have a lot of people who've been looking for jobs, and they're like, oh, am I not supposed to take a job right now? No, if you've been doing it well before, then yes, you totally can. If this is something that you've been doing for right before the retrograde and then it just popped up. Now, if a job pops up in the retrograde that you had not in your awareness, that could be a good thing because of the solar eclipse, but it might not be a good thing too. So be careful and make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's and check every detail and ask for more information. Don't just assume. Don't assume anything during the retrograde. Make sure you're very clear about your communication. Make sure you know all the details about the job. Make sure that you know everything and see if maybe you can't hold off on actually signing the contract until the shadow period at least. Those are some things to kind of look at. I'll put the link to the dates of the Mercury retrograde in the description box down below as well, so that you can click on that and you can see all of the dates for the Mercury retrograde so you can plan your life accordingly and just in a very good way. Okay, Pisces, let's talk about what's going on specifically in your sign for the Mercury retrograde this month and what types of things you will be looking at and dealing with, okay? So Pisces, first of all, this is the card of Pisces, and this says that your energy is wistful, endlessly loving, compassionate, and forgiving. It confuses and softens resolve. So that is the Pisces card for your zodiac sign. Mercury retrograde, this is Mercury. How we think, communicate, write, talk, and travel will be highlighted for every single person in all the signs. And then the fourth house is going to be highlighted for Pisces because it's 4 signs away from Gemini. So, and Gemini is what Mercury is in this month. So your home and the roots of your being is what will be coming up and you will be focusing on. So let me give you a little bit more insight about that. Okay, the fourth house is mind, focusing on the home, real estate, moving, buying and selling, family reunions, weddings, negotiating, meeting contracts, remodeling and fixing up, painting, things of that sort, and freshening up, just breathing new life into the home and the family. The trapped emotions we're going to work on at the end of this video in a little meditative kind of releasing thing is resentment in your gallbladder at the age of 5 is still living since the age of 5 in your gallbladder, and then panic lives in your gallbladder since the age of 14. We're going to go ahead and release those today as well. The oil that came up for you is actually On Guard, is one of them, and the other one is Roman Chamomile, which is right there. And we will talk about those as well. All right, let's get started into your actual energy and see what's going on in the cards. Okay, let me move these. All right, so Mercury retrograde started on the 29th. That was my son's birthday. So I didn't actually get videos out on that day, so I'm sorry if you've had to wait for your video. I just fully celebrate my kids on their birthdays, and I don't do any kind of work. Especially since all of my work is something I do from home, I make sure that I cut out specific times where I don't do those types of things, and I honor my children. You're Pisces, so you understand that. I have Pisces in my chart, so That's probably where a lot of that comes from. All right, let's see what's going on. I want to thank you all for your likes, your subscribing. I'm really close to 500 subscribers, which is my goal. So I want to thank you very, very much for getting me there. Also, anybody who's called or texted me and let me know how things are going on in your life, that really does help me realize like how my readings are doing and how they're helping you, because that's my goal, is to actually help. So I actually started this channel because I have a lot of friends who are really busy, and it just makes it really easy for them to get information that they need. And sometimes I'm really busy for friends sometimes too. So it just makes it really easy sometimes for me to kind of just guide everybody all at once, right? Okay, here we go. So Pisces always gets that card. That's funny. But yeah, you're definitely going to be in your energy, which is interesting. So let's see what else we got here. Okay, yeah, that's right. And beautiful. And I always clarify these top cards, and we'll get into what they say in just a second. I'll tell you what they are and what they say. That's beautiful. Can I clarify that a little bit more? Yes, I see that. Okay, cool. Very good. So the bottom card is the Nine of Swords. And this is a great card because this card is actually like the staves of life, like setting yourself up for success in all areas of your life. And it's also this is the overall energy of Mercury retrograde for you. Is actually, what I'm hearing is you're going to be contemplating and thinking about and living more in your higher self and your higher consciousness to build each one of these things in the way that you want them, so that you can move forward in life in the way that you desire. So it's like, we'll get into this a little bit more because I'm not totally sure. I'm sure they'll point me to this card in a minute when they give me more information, because I'm hearing other things, so I need to just kind of hone in on what they're telling me. So you're coming from a really good energy, which is a full energy, which means that you were feeling very free, feeling very Piscean. You were feeling very creative and free, and life was going really good. That doesn't mean that when the lunar eclipse came up that you weren't being tugged in a whole bunch of places. I really feel like that was true, but I think you still, even though you're being pulled in a lot of places, you still felt really good. You know, it was kind of like you felt so good that you were able to, like hold down the fort for everybody else. Like, what can I do for you? And how can I help you? And what can I do for you? Type of thing. And that was really, it was wild energy, you know. And yesterday was a really strong day for the retrograde. I don't know if you guys felt that, but poof, I sure did. So what I'm seeing is that you're definitely going to be in your higher mind and your higher consciousness this month. You're going to be really, really guided by Spirit and by God. So your connection to God is going to be really strong. So what I want you to do is, as you navigate through the craziness or just the uneasiness of the retrograde, just stay connected in with God, because God is, like when your blindfold is on, you can still see because of God. So you're going to have your sight, your spiritual sight, to guide you through the month, which is really, really awesome. Super lucky for you, because not everybody has that. And you're going to feel really good because that's crossing over with the Empress, which means you're going to feel very strong in your power. You're going to feel very good in your power. You're going to feel very pretty too, like, and handsome for guys. Women, you're going to feel really pretty, and guys are going to feel really handsome. You're just going to feel like Venus is shining on you or something. So I wonder if Venus is, I haven't even checked that out. I don't even know where Venus is right now. I do know that Jupiter's going to make some appearances and retrograding and there's all kinds of stuff going on energetically. It's crazy. But I think you're going to feel really good, especially if you stay connected in with your higher self and with your meditations and things of that sort. It's probably why, I'll just bring this up now because they're pointing me to it, Roman chamomile came up for you, because this is spiritual insight, spiritual purpose. It's a very spiritual oil that there's a link in the description box down below for doTERRA. That's all I use because it's the purest oils on the planet. So this oil You could get, if you do a $35 membership, you can get it for 25% off. You can get 25% off for an entire year. If you want to waive the $35 membership, then I suggest getting a kit because it waives that $35 fee. And then you'll have a whole bunch of oils to play with, and you can just add Roman chamomile to your order. It's pretty easy. So that's what I'm hearing is like to stay in this very high spiritual purpose, you're going to want to use Roman chamomile. Okay, so I'll just leave that right there for you. What I like to do with that oil is put it on my big toe, or I like to put it on my third eye. That's a good place to put it so that you stay very well connected in with what your angels and guides are telling you and helping you and guiding you through. Okay. All right. So your question is about your career or whatever you're doing entrepreneurial wise. So you're kind of wondering about that. You're also wondering about maybe some travel that you want to do. Maybe there's some work issues that came up for you. Maybe it's just your creative work. But you're even worrying about like some of the inspirations that you've gotten, or maybe some of the spiritual insight that you've gotten. Like, was it off? I don't understand why I got that spiritual thought when maybe it wasn't real or didn't really pan out the way that it was said to you or told to you. And maybe you're like, was that my ego? What was that? I'm kind of confused. I don't know what that is. This could be also asking about a love relationship coming in, because this can be the phallic symbol. So for those of you focusing in on love, you might be thinking like, and this would be air signs, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It doesn't have to necessarily be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but it could be somebody who has that type of energy that they're portraying to you right now. So sometimes it's weird when I talk to some people, even though they say they're a certain sign, it's like, no, I kind of feel like you're a different sign right now. And that's because we have many things. We have sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter. We have a whole chart full of what we are. So there's lots of free sites online where you can see that. You can even find the degrees and all of that stuff. I have one posted in the description box down below, but you can use whatever you want. A lot of people like astrology.com, I think, and that's not posted, but that's a pretty good one. Anyway, it's kind of like, when is this phallic symbol coming in? When is this love coming in? And phallic symbol doesn't have to be male. It could be anyone bringing their love to you. You could be asking that question. You're also asking about, some of you guys are asking about expressing yourself. Am I expressing myself in the right way? Because you came from expressing yourself. You came from being really free. You came from being almost wild, right? And so you're kind of wondering, like, did I do that in the right spot? And your hopes and fears related to this entrepreneurial thing is it stable? Do I need to guard myself? And that's where they're showing me right here is on guard would be great coming in, because if you have the fear of needing to protect yourself, then you want to use On Guard. It's the oil of protection. It's great for the immune system. It is actually our protective blend. It smells really good, so you could diffuse it. You could put it on your spine. You could put it on the bottom of your feet. You can smell it, whatever you want to do. It's a really good oil. You're wondering, like, should I protect my heart? Should I protect my mind? Should I protect the stability of my home? So that's if it's more in the fear category. If this is more in your hopes category, you're saying, is this going to give me everything that I need in my mind, body, and spirit? Is this going to give me everything I need to move forward? Am I going to feel whole? Am I going to feel complete? Right? Okay. So the energy that is coming towards you is a really awesome energy. It is the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is a feeling of prosperity. Maybe you're going to get some good news about property. You're definitely going to feel very happy pretty soon. I know that's crazy because you probably didn't feel really good for the last week. But just know happiness is coming. Contentment is coming. Money news is coming. And it's coming quickly. So this is something that's going to be a lot faster than you felt. And you're going to be receiving maybe some sort of gift or an opportunity. And you will get what you need. So when it comes in, the advice is that you don't doubt that you deserve it, because this is definitely coming in from the universe. And one more thing, it could be that air sign as well, or this also represents God on both sides. So you were asking, and it's when I don't have double cards. So you were asking, am I getting my ace? Am I getting that air sign or God or something? Are they bringing something in for me? And the answer is yes, because they just gave you the same exact card in another form, but it's pretty much the same thing, okay? Now, the energy that you're going to be in is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is good news. There's communication coming. You can trust what's coming in. You could be getting that job offer. Remember, whenever you get Mercury retrograde stuff, check the details. So if this is a job offer that, you applied to before Mercury retrograde, or you were already in the venture of looking for a job before Mercury retrograde and this job came up, great. If you weren't even looking for a job and all of a sudden this job came up and it's like, you should take this now, that's a Mercury retrograde kind of lesson karmic thing. So just make sure if you do want it, make sure that you check all the details and don't just sign on the dotted line and get yourself into something that you're going to have to re-look at, reevaluate, redo, all of those things, okay? The people around you are in the Page of Cups, which means that they are wanting to bring you love. You're gonna get good news from people around you. They are getting good money. There's dreamers around you. They're super intuitive. They're going to be generous. You're going to see them enjoying life. Very good, because we want those things during Mercury retrograde. We don't want to see people suffering. We want to see people getting the things that they want. So that's good, because when you see that, that's going to mean that you don't have to try to fix everyone and try to help everyone and get in that energy. It's going to be like, you know what? I can stay in my spiritual sight now, and I can go ahead and move into that, and that would be better for me. Okay, so can you see, they're pointing me to this card now. Can you see how everything is kind of like, one is spiritual sight, the other one is love and good news, and the other one right here is friendships, having a good time and doing well, and setting up the home. And so they're showing me that this is like putting things down and saying, this is my finances, and this is my house, and this is my love, and this is my that. And that's the energy that you're going to be in this month, is just creating stability all around you. Okay, that's good. Now, the closest outcome for this reading is showing me the Three of Wands, which is a card of planning and looking into the future. It's a card of like, maybe you're going to see something differently through the retrograde that's going to make you go, that's interesting. Now I can move forward in my future in a different way, anytime we do that, that feels really exciting. Like, oh, good, that's cool. Like, now I know this, and now I know that, and now I can make these different plans, which look so much better than the plans I was making before. And it's a very expansive card. And then also, you're going to be moving into the Queen of Wands energy, which is the most beautiful queen in the deck. So once again, you have two cards of beauty, two cards of just shining in your beauty. So, and handsomeness for those who are guys. There's no gender to the cards. It doesn't mean it's a female. So this card is saying that you are going to definitely feel more entrepreneurial. So the closer we get out of Mercury retrograde, so it's like, even for me, so Mercury retrograde, one of those things that I have to come to terms with as well is that I'm seeing like a back and forth even in my YouTube channel. Well, I get subscribers and then they're gone, and then I get subscribers and then they're gone. It's kind of like, what am I doing wrong? I'm not doing anything wrong. It's Mercury retrograde. You need to take that out of your whole existence. You're not doing anything wrong. It's the retrograde pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. You go, that's okay. It makes me want to go, I'm not even going to look at anything until July, right? And my husband was looking at our Bitcoin, and I said, don't even look at it until after July. Don't even look at it, because it's going to back and forth, back and forth. It's going to do really well and not well, and then do really well and not well. And so what this is saying is that you are going to be entrepreneurial. You were asking about that. Am I going to be? The answer again, they've told you again, yes, you are. You're going to be the great counselor that you always were, and people are going to be seeing you as very supportive and social and self-aware and making good choices and expressing yourself with all of these opportunities. You're definitely going to be stepping into your power, okay? So that is really beautiful. Also, you're taking on that teaching role, but they're saying that this card also has coming up for a lot of people is there's some karmic lessons that are inside of the Mercury retrograde that you're going to be releasing and going to be done with finally once and for all. And I know that because this came up as well. Once again, you have another ace. So you have three aces in your reading. That is beautiful. This ace right here, this is a longer term effect, like 3 to 6 months from now. It's definitely a longer outcome, but it's kind of showing you where you're going. You're going towards success. You're going towards being able to make very clear decisions And if there's any immediate changes, it's all going to be for the better. You're definitely going to triumph over these obstacles in the past that are going to come up during the Mercury retrograde. We're letting them go. This is the karmic release of those things, finally letting them go. The power on the earth of 5D energy is here to stay. And we are changing to match that. We can't bring our old energy with us. We can't bring those 3D things that hurt our heart. We can't bring those forward, and you're not going to. This is like another layer, another time for you to get rid of some of those karmic things that has been plaguing you and making it crazy making, right? And I know it's going to do well because you have the Justice card. Whenever you have the Justice cards, it means everything's going to go in your favor. Every apology you're going to get. You're going to get people on your side and saying, you know what, I really should have done this better. And I'm sorry I didn't do that. You know, you're going to get, this is getting sorries. This is getting, if you are, since you're focusing in on home, because we know that's Mercury retrograde, if you're selling a home, you're going to be able to sell it. That's the thing saying the contract is going to come through. So one of the things I do want to say, since home and selling is a big thing for you, if you were already planning on selling before Mercury retrograde, you probably don't have to worry about it, but do definitely always make sure that you ask a lot of questions and sign before you sign on the dotted line. Be very, very smart about what you're doing. Don't just sign. However, if you decided on the 29th that you were going to sell your house and then it's going to be sold, then like in the retrograde, then you might have to redo, and there might be a lot of back and forth. It doesn't mean that it won't be sold. It just means that there might be a lot of back and forth. So what I want you to do is be like the water and be very fluid. Don't freak out. Just say, you know, it's the retrograde. Just like when I saw some of my subscribers coming and going and coming and going. I just saw this back and forth ping pong thing happening. I just said to myself, it's the retrograde. Keep moving forward. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, it's just the retrograde. Okay? Now, here's the interesting thing, is there's lots of communication coming through. This communication could be about the home, the family, love, money, all of it. Could be any one of those things. It could be the communication about whatever you're trying to sell. If you're selling, it could be the communication about all the sorries. It could be the communication about the karmic relationships that we're moving through. But definitely successful communication, is these two cards together means successful communications. So remember, communication during the retrograde, especially when we're talking to friends and families and people that we love very much, we have to be careful about miscommunication and try to be as clear as we can, and always err on the side of compassion, which is your sign is full of compassion. So that I'm not really worried about. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to check your crystals, since I already talked about your oils as we went through the reading. We're going to do find out the crystal, and then we're going to release a trapped emotion. And this is really good. I'm excited. I'm a Pisces. I want to release some karmic stuff too, so I'm with you on that one. I'm ready to let some things go. I'm ready for this retrograde to help me with that. I just released something yesterday. And I can't say it was a fun experience, but I still did it. All right, Shungite. Shungite. So Shungite is a wonderful crystal that you can use to detox your life, because remember, we're getting rid of karmic stuff. We got to get rid of the energy as well. So I would say another oil that it didn't come up for you, but it would be something for you to look at. Let me see if I have it. It's called Zindekryn oil. So yeah, I don't have it down here. It's one that we keep in our kitchen when we go through the detox phase, right? So you can put it in your water and drink it. You can put it in a capsule and take it. So those of you who are getting your oils, make sure you put Zindekryn. It starts with a Z. It's probably one of the only ones that starts with a Z, so you should be able to find it. It comes in capsules already if you just want to get it in the soft gels ready to go, and you just take it. You take one with every meal, I think it says, and that will start to detox your liver and your kidneys. Drink a lot of water with it so you can flush all that stuff out. Because our emotions are in our body and stuck in our body, or, you know, it's just, I won't say stuck, it's being held within our body, I guess, or living there. It's good to do something like that, because that will start to break up some of that. And when the emotions start to release, just know that you might have experiences in your life that help you to actually emotionally release that as well. So don't be afraid of any of that stuff. Just be like, oh, I'm taking Zindekryn oil, so that's why that came up. And just be like, logical about it and smart about it. Just be like, okay, yeah, so that's why that came up. No big deal. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and sit back, and we are going to release the trapped emotions of resentment that's living in your gallbladder at the age of 5 and panic in your gallbladder at the age of 14. We'll be doing them separately because that's how we release trapped emotions. I'm going to invite Archangel Michael in, your higher self, your angels and spirit guides, and your inner child at the age of 5 and the age of 14. We're going to start with the 5-year-old first, so go ahead and sit back and listen to the music and let the music relax you. Breathe in and focus in on your breath. Ready? Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Okay. I want you to kind of imagine your gallbladder, and a lot of us don't even know where that is, so just pretend like you know where it is. Imagine somewhere in your stomach area, there's your gallbladder. And inside of your gallbladder, you see a 5-year-old child sitting there holding on to this thing that happened. This thing that happened that made him or her feel resentment. Made her feel, and him feel angry. Right? So go ahead and breathe in. Go up to the little child and ask the little child if they could let go of that resentment and give it to you so you can give it to God. And the 5-year-old child is kind of looking at you like, well, how do I do that, right? Breathe in and breathe out. Relax yourself. And just have a little conversation with the 5-year-old that says, hey, that big feeling that you have in your hands right there, that's called resentment. And sometimes when life doesn't go the way that we want it to, we get upset and then we kind of hold it against ourselves and everyone else. And that resentment right there it gets triggered inside of my body now that I'm older, and we start having more and more experiences because we're not letting that go. Do you want to keep feeling that hurt and pain? And the little child says, no, I don't want to. I said, oh, okay, well, Can you give me the resentment, please, that you're holding on to, and I'll give it to God. And I want you to watch and see what happens when I give it to God. Are you ready? And the little child says, okay, yeah. So they give you the resentment, and you walk over and you look up to God and you say, and you give your hands to God and you say, God, can you please take this resentment and turn it into light energy, please, so that my 5-year-old child doesn't have to deal with that pain anymore, and doesn't have to keep getting triggered every time something hurtful happens, and that we don't have to react anymore, that we can actually be a part of life and live life to its fullest. So breathe in, and when you breathe out, I want you to give that resentment to God. Breathe out, and God takes your resentment, and God breathes in real big and blows. And what happens is that bursts into a lot of snow. It's so pretty. It looks like a snow globe, right? And you just see it like bursting into the air, just raining down this beautiful snow. It's glittery and it's pretty. And it's just the most pretty. It's very pretty. And you look at your 5-year-old child in your gallbladder, and your 5-year-old child is smiling. And they're like, that's so pretty. And you say, see what you giving me your resentment did? It made this beautiful, beautiful, sparkly snow into the air like that. And everybody got to enjoy it. It's May, end of May, June, and it's snowing. Right? Beautiful. All right, so now I want you to breathe in, and we're gonna go back to our gallbladder, and this time you see your 14-year-old self there. Breathe in. Breathe out. And your 14-year-old self is in a ball, curled up with their head down and their knees. And they're shaking and they're scared. Something really big happened. Really, really big that they weren't expecting. And it rocked their world. And you go go to your 14-year-old self and you put your hand on your shoulder and you say, hey, I know that was really, really, really scary. As you hold on to that feeling, you're living that experience every day of our lives. Every day of our lives, you've trapped yourself in your panic. And we live with this panic just inside of us, and we don't know why. We don't know why it's still there with us, but it's there because the 14-year-old wouldn't let it go. So you say, can I take that away from you? And the 14-year-old says, no, I deserve this panic. This panic is my fault. And you say, no, it's not. It's not your fault. And I think that you suffered long enough. Even if you do believe it's your fault, you've suffered long enough. How long are you going to suffer? For the rest of your life? I'm sure that that experience didn't mean that you were supposed to suffer for the rest of your life. Experiences they're lessons. And I think you learned your lesson. It's not about punishment. It was a lesson. And let me take that. Did you see the beautiful snow that we made with our resentment when we were 5? And the 14-year-old looks up with a little bit of hope. Yeah, I saw that. Well, would you like to make more snow? Would you like to make more beautiful things of the world? Because that panic that you're holding on to right there can do it. It can make this beautiful thing for everyone if you just let it go. Well, you know how much Pisces loves to make everyone happy, right? So what does 14-year-old Pisces do? If it's going to make everybody else happy, then I will give it to you. So Pisces hands over. 14-year-old Pisces hands over the panic. And you take it and you walk over to God, and it's huge. It's like so heavy you can barely even carry it, right? And God says, don't worry, I got it. Takes it from you with one big breath. Ready? Breathe in. Make it into snow. Ready? Go. Breathe out. And it's the biggest cloud burst that you've ever seen. And it bursts all across the world, and everybody gets snow in June, and it's pretty and it's sparkly, and everybody's happy and running around and dancing in it, and your 14-year-old self is so happy. Look at that. That was my panic. And it feels so good, like there's this release inside of your body. No more panic, no more resentment. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in one more time. Breathe out. And every time you see snow, whether it's on TV or whether it's right in front of you, or whether you just think about it or see it in a snow globe, maybe you buy a snow globe just to remind you of what you did. The resentment you let go and the panic you let go. That big, huge panic that you thought you could never leave. You let it go. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you for your higher self. Thank you, 14-year-old and 5-year-old Pisces for going through this experience with us so we can release that trapped emotion that's been living there forever. We really appreciate all of your help. And we'll come back to this recording when those conversations come up that might make us panic, that might make us have a little bit of resentment. You know, we'll come back and we'll release this again before we have any conversations. So that we can come to those conversations very strong. So thank you very much. Pisces, that was gorgeous. That was beautiful. And I thank you so much for being on this journey with me so that we can release those emotions and we can move through life in such a better space. If you like this video, you were entertained in some way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. This way you get notified as soon as I post something new. Also, I can't wait until I get inspired to do another video for you soon. I don't know what that'll look like. If that will be, what are they thinking about you? If it'll be specifically love related. If it will be just an update on Mercury Retrograde and how we're going. It's basically I check in with God and God tells me what to do and I do it. That's how it works. All right, you guys have a great day. Bye.